From winning the Juno Award to lighting up global stages, from Billboard chart hits like Boogie Woogie Dancing Shoes to winning the Legends of Vinyl Award. My guest today is a multi-award winning singer, songwriter, actor and producer, Claudja Barry. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Claudja Barry, welcome to Profile.
Hi, great to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to share your story. Quite an interesting one, and I want to share a Cliff Notes version. Although in many respects, the entire program is a Cliff Notes version, especially in your case where you've done so many different things. I'm a renowned recording artist and Juno Award winner, and the Juno Award is kind of the equivalent of the Grammy Awards in Canada. Known for hits like, and this is just one of them, Boogie Woogie Dancing Shoes. I was listening to it yesterday, performing at Pride Toronto 2024. Grew up in Canada, but from Jamaica. Highly traveled, performed at several world-famous venues like Studio 54, the Saint Avenue, and the Saint as well. And you have achievements in both music and theater, and also a part of a very well-known group called Bonnie M.
Oh, really? Oh, yes.
That's a very interesting thing as well on one level, because people are not necessarily as familiar with the name of the group, but know all of the music,
right,
especially in Jamaica. And then not just in terms of a career that spans music, but also that spans areas of film as well. When you listen to all of this and you think back on your journey, how would you describe it?
Well, I did take a lot of time off, but when you stop achieving or trying to achieve or exploring what other talents you have, then you can just say, well, I've had enough and say goodbye. But I haven't reached that point yet, so I'm really quite excited to see what else is coming. I've looked forward to exploring all the avenues of my talent.
Let's talk about that exploration. From Jamaica, the parents moved to Canada when you were 7.
Right.
You remember the experience of early days in Canada?
Well, as I was saying, I thought about Canada in a different way. I didn't realize that Canada would have been the place where I would have achieved and made a good sort of impact internationally. But Canada is certainly somewhere that I do call home, although now Jamaica, I feel, is my home. I loved my childhood in Canada. There was nothing about it that I could say any negative thoughts about, because there was always something to do. There was always family to. My family was, I'm the last of 11 children. I had to really fight hard to get any kind of recognition in the hierarchy of the family. And of course, when you're the baby, so to speak, and you're supposed to get all this stuff, but I always got the rest. Yes. So I always realized that I must always do for myself. I must always be that person to get it right, get it done, and make sure I get some of it for me, which is what I think I try to do in my life.
Did your parents also influence that sort of perspective of getting things done as well?
Well, my mother was incredibly ambitious. She was a driving force. She was somebody who there was always a word to. If it was wrong, there was always something to say to make it right. So, and she always steered me definitely in the right direction. My mom was an amazing person. My dad was a party guy. He was fun, he was happy. It was like live life today, because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And that was his philosophy. Of course, my mother was like, hey, we got 11 kids to look after, now get it together, So I had a great upbringing, but I had gorgeous sisters. I had amazing brothers who were handsome, beautiful human beings. And I was sort of, ooh, does she belong with them? You know, it was that kind of look. And I always sort of felt, oh boy, I've got to really try hard to get everybody's attention, which I finally did in I don't know, 1980. They saw me sitting with the Prime Minister of Canada at the Juno Awards, where I opened the show. Yes. And you know, I sat and we talked, and my mother called the next day and she said, "Oh, well, now I suppose I don't have to worry too much about you. I suppose you will have something to eat eventually." But she was never very supportive. She always thought show business or the entertainment business was not really what she'd like to have for her last child.
Did you understand early on, because I've heard you say that showbiz was the thing. Did you understand that you wanted to be involved in some measure of the arts?
I always wanted to be an opera singer. I wanted, when I was growing up as a kid, there was always like things like the Magic Flute or the Marriage of Figaro from Mozart and the Evergreens, you know, Nat King Cole, Barbra Streisand, all these kinds of people. The music was always there. We always heard.
This was what was being played in your home.
That was what was being played at home. So you did get that opportunity to sort of hear and feel what a huge orchestra sounded like, what it meant to have somebody like Elisabeth Schwarzkopf sing a high C that, you know, I always wondered, how does she do that? You know, and so early on I said, geez, I wish I could do that. And my mom sang in a little trio, 3 ladies in the church, and she always looked beautiful. She always looked great, and they sounded beautiful. And of course it was church, you know, and I often thought that if she wasn't in church, she would have been a great singer.
And this would end up becoming the career that you would pursue. But we have to, how you got to that, I want to talk about it in our next segment. We have to take our first break on Profile. My guest is the multi-award-winning singer, songwriter, actor, and producer Claudja Barry, and we're back with you after these messages.